second, it will beep at you because it becomes hard to hold the camera beyond 1/30th of a second still and to have non-blurred images. So maybe I can just simulate that. So let's go to 1/15th of a second. And is it gonna beep? Maybe I'll set it here. There. So right now I'm at f5.6 and I'm set to auto and the beeper's on, and you'll hear it beeping. And inside, you kind of see the viewfinder. You'll see that little dot. And if you look at the bottom set of those numbers there inside the viewfinder, they're red. And that means that it's hard to shoot without a tripod and just hand hold it. So it's just a little bit of a warning signal for you. Now you can alternatively turn it off just by switching it down, and it will stop beeping at you. But you see, if you see those little dots, that tells you what shutter speed, when you're in automatic mode, what you're shooting at, that little dot in there. Maybe I'll show you guys in the manual a little bit more clearly what it looks like. Basically looks like that here. So again, it will beep you. You got it in. So it just helps out a bit. Alright, so there's a beep, so let's move on. So you see at the ASA, you gotta set your ASA. When you get film, for those of you who don't know, film comes at separate ISOs. So usually, like, I got some old Kodak Max, this is 400 ISO. So when you're putting it in your camera, you want to set it to 400. You'll see this little dot here, and what you do is you can pull up this whole little part here to change it to whatever your film is. So it basically, on the FG, it goes from 12 ISO all the way to 3200. So you just lift that and drop it, lift it, drop it to wherever this little dot goes. You just need to tell so right now I'm at 400. Next you have what we call exposure compensation. You gotta match this red dot here to whatever you want to expose at. If you want to go a little over or under exposure, you can change it like this. You gotta be hitting this button here, right there, to change it. And once you let go, it locks it in, and you're set. That's on this side. This little button here, it gives the camera, if something is very backlit, let's say you have a person like right here and the sun's glaring back here, the meter in here will probably underexpose the person. So if you're backlit, basically this adds, I believe, adds 2 stops compensation automatically to your meter. So that's just a quick and dirty, little helpful tool there. Again, 2 stops. Next thing we probably want to talk about is the timer here. So it's already, we got it already cocked, ready to go. So you just pull that back. I believe it goes for 10 seconds. So it perfectly, ideally we'd be on a tripod, but once you click, you can hear the buzzing sound, and this meter will be going. And there it did. It took the picture for us. Simple as that. Or I can do it a little bit shorter. There you go. Simple. What else can we talk about? There's a little slot here for your film. Basically on the boxes of the film you get, you usually have a little label. People shove it back into here, that little label, to tell you what film you're shooting at. Because right now, if I put this down for a couple days, I might not remember what's in here without opening it up and ruining the film. Let's, last but not least, talk about the batteries. So we'll basically you get a coin and you just unscrew it. So you'll see it's like that. So this takes like button cell batteries. I believe they're called 375 or LR44s or SR44s. You should always look it up first. They're basically 1.5 volt batteries. You need 2 of them to operate the FG. You'll see it comes like in this little thing. It also shows you here how to load it on the side. Make sure when you're handling these batteries that you handle them like this. You don't want to be touching them like this. So you just pop them in there like that, facing downwards. And you pop that back in. Your coin. Screw that back in. Alright. And then you're good. Should be good to go. There you go. The FG also takes one of the motor drives that Nikon came out with. I forgot which one exactly, but it does take motor drives. For those people that don't know what a motor drive is, it basically it attaches to the bottom of the camera. You got a bit more bigger grip. It lets the camera automatically cock the film for you, so I don't have to be sitting here doing that. I just click the button and it runs through the film for me. I think it goes at 3 frames per second. Not too fast for today's standards, but not bad back then. For the hot shoe for the flash, personally for film, I don't use any flash photography. I'll use this mainly outdoors. Last but not least, let's take our film back out. You're going to hit this button here. That releases it. It'll click in, the pin will go in. And then at that point, you can start winding that back up. I'm not going to wind it all the back way in because this is my dummy roll. Basically, this is what it looks like inside. Yep. And then you just pop this off to get it out. And there's my roll. Put that back up. We're good. So I'll let you guys hear the sound of the shutter again for the FG. Maybe I'll go to M90 mode. A little bit of a comparison with the FE. My FE jams a bit. You'll see how it jammed, and I had to bring it to M90 to release it. But again, the FE is a bit snappier. FG has a good solid feel, but it has a little zip sound at the end of it. I don't know if you guys can hear it. But that is the FG. I would say it's a pretty decent camera to start with if you're going to shoot film again. I don't have any real complaints about it because personally I like to be in aperture priority mode, so I'm not fiddling with the shutter speeds. If you want to, of course you can, but under circumstances, if you're shooting like sports or something, you would want to keep it on the higher settings. If you're doing nighttime photography, of course you still have the option to go in to bulb mode or slower shutters. Some people might say the 1,000th of a second shutter speed is a little bit too slow in bright daylight. Pop in an ND filter, and that should help it out a bit to block some of the light if you're getting a lot of light. Again, FG is a pretty decent camera to start out with. You can get for sometimes 50 if you're lucky, around $100 with the lens would be an okay deal. But it's a great little camera. Again, it's got automatic exposure mode, so that's pretty good. I have the option to go fully manual if I want to. And if I really want to go fully automatic and just control the focus, I can do that. Go into P mode, shoot that at the f/22. Pretty much it manages that exposure for me. What else do I need to finish with? Yeah, instead of a needle inside, it will actually have little dots, LED dots, and it'll tell you where you're at for your meter. It automatically, from what I know, the meter turns off in about 20 seconds around there. If you're ever storing your camera, rip out your batteries, keep your lens cap on, and switch your camera into M90 mode. Keep it in a cool, dry place stored. Don't let it get wet. Maybe after every couple of years, pull it out, check it out, cock it, make sure it's still running. And that's about it. That's the Nikon FG.